I've been in this retirement planning business for 32 years now, and if there's one question I get more than any other, it's how do I compare to my neighbor, right? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you what the average 401k balance is for those who are at age 65, and really a more important question, which is why is that important? But before I get there, let's subscribe to my channel and hit the notifications bell so you're alerted to when we post new videos. I get kidded by my friends all the time because my mantra always is enjoy the journey. And I believe you've worked hard for it, retirement, and I want you to enjoy it. But the definition of joy is different for everybody, and everybody leads a little bit different lifestyle. So before we get to the numbers, I want to talk to, if you will, the importance of understanding a little bit about perspective and what goes into enjoying the journey. I really do believe our industry has done a lousy job of informing you how to truly enjoy the journey. The focus has been so much on making sure that you accumulate a big nest egg for retirement, ignoring the fact that everybody has a different set of retirement goals and dreams, a different lifestyle I would lead than my neighbor would lead. And we oftentimes don't take that into account when we benchmark how we're doing against our neighbors. Let me give you a couple of stories. I have one particular client. They have about $300,000 in investment assets. They are very happy in retirement. One of the reasons is that they don't really have a big need or desire to go and do and travel and buy stuff. They just want to be around their family and they're local. He gets a pension, they get Social Security, they don't have to rely on income from their portfolio, and they don't have a big cash flow need on a monthly basis. So they feel very comfortable in their journey now and pursuing the things that are really important to them. Every time I talk to them, I really smile. Now I have another client who has about $3 million of assets, and if you try to gauge the book by its cover, you go, oh, $3 million, they must be doing really well. 300,000, they must not be doing very well. Well, in this particular case, the folks with the $3 million are not truly being fulfilled. And we have conversations all the time about how they're going to fill the time that they have. Because not only is one of the big fears that people have running out of money, but the other big fear is, well, what am I going to do the rest of my life? How do I get rewarded? How do I get fulfilled? And at the $3 million level, this particular couple is really not enjoying this next chapter of life. So remember, a number is just a number. And you have to figure out how important it is to you. So I'm going to give you the average 401k balance for those who are at 65 in just a couple of minutes. But I really want to sort of set the stage and put this in proper perspective because I come from a planning perspective. And what we have to do is take a look at the totality, the whole picture, right? So there are a number of questions that you have to answer or figure out as you now go into retirement that will help you to understand what your journey is going to be and what your dreams and goals are. So one of the things is, do you live in the Northeast where, cost of living is very high, or do you live in the Southwest where it may not be as high? Do you have kids who live far away and they have the grandkids, right? And you want to go travel, or do you have a desire to travel overseas? Some do, some don't. Some like expensive toys. Some just like to stay home. I actually have one client. He is so fulfilled in retirement and he does nothing. He lives in Florida And all he wants to do 24/7 is just sit on the beach. He had a very busy life during this first chapter of his working years. And now that he's in his next chapter of retirement, he just wants it to be very blissful, if you will. He doesn't want to do anything. And for him, that's important. When I give you the number for the average 401k balance, you also have to remember, what other assets do you have? What Social Security do you have? Are you going to go for a part-time job? Are you volunteering? What are some of the other things that you can bring to bear in addition to the 401k asset? For some, that asset may be the only retirement asset they have, and they have to work with that. But for others, they may have other pieces. So when I give you this number, I want you to remember, as you benchmark yourself or compare yourself to your neighbor, everyone is different, and I want you to keep that in mind. I also want you to find out, this is very important, what stage of retirement preparedness are you in? Are you ready for this next chapter of life? And I want you to go to our banner, invest. We're talking about investments, right? Invest 2 minutes in a quiz that I'll score for you which of the 3 stages of retirement preparedness you're in. And I'll also get for you the first chapter of my new book, Don't Outlive Your Money in Retirement, along with a couple of worksheets that will help give you a little bit more clarity in terms of where you are and what you need to do. So let's dive into the numbers. And what's interesting here is that less than half of the people who are eligible to contribute to the 401k retirement plan offered by their employer actually do. And again, this is part of what I believe is a lousy educational job on our industry part. We need to be telling you, making it urgent, compelling you to put that money away and share with you the stories. AARP recently did a study that said a majority of people facing their normal retirement age, call it 65, 66, 67, were deferring their retirement. And the number one reason was they didn't have enough money. So you really need to grasp this. I mean, now that you're looking at it and you're closing in maybe on your 60s, maybe it's a little late to think about this, but we need to be sharing that lesson with our kids and telling them to start saving earlier, right? So I'm going to share with you the numbers, okay? And here's a little bit of terminology, if you will. So the mean is the average of all the numbers. And this can be skewed, okay? You could have people who have, billions of dollars that are going to skew the number higher because it's the average of all the balances. Whereas the median is that person that literally is right in the middle. Exactly, let's call it half of the people have less and half of the people have more. And you get a sense of the difference when I'm going to give you this number. And all this number is driven by a study that was done by Vanguard for 2020. And the data was compiled from 5 million different 401k accounts. Okay? So it's a significant piece of information. And here are your numbers. So the average 401k balance at the age of 65 is $216,720. But the median, the person who's in the middle, okay, half less than, half more than, is $64,548. Wow, what a difference, right? But the reality is that so many of those who may be even contributing to the 401k don't have a lot and cannot necessarily rely upon that asset. What a shame, right? It's been available for so long, and we really needed to do a better job of helping you understand how important it was to put that money away. Now, another interesting statistic was that of all the 401k accounts, the 5 million that were looked at by Vanguard, 1.6 of those had accumulated $1 million or more. Just right? But what does it all mean? That we need to take a look at what we have. We need to make sure that that number, for some, it may only be 20, 30, 40, 50,000. For some, it could be upwards of 1 million or more. But when you now go to retire, you need to make sure that you're managing it properly so it can provide whatever the lifestyle is that you wish to pursue in retirement so you can truly enjoy the retirement journey. And to learn more about 401ks, take a look at our video on costly 401k mistakes.